What's up, guys, and welcome to the very first episode of More Than a Conversation. We are so excited for everyone who tunes in today to be a part of this commencement podcast as we cover these few topics. And I'm going to be joined today by my friend, Forever the Arrowverse.
That's me.
Yes, sir. All right. And so, topics lined up for you today. And the first topic that we really wanted to dive into today was our honest reviews of Across the Spider-Verse. I mean, that movie has become like a phenomena. It has blown up box office scores, it's got really high ratings, and a lot of people are actually saying that it's better than the first one. So, what's your thoughts, Arrow?
No, it's definitely better than the first one. Yeah, everyone. I was going into it and thinking that the hype wasn't exactly there. I had my doubts, but I've seen it twice already, and it's just unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. And like, I was in a similar spot when I got into this movie because you see a lot of film industries, they go in and they make these sequel films, and they're always just
Mhm.
like,
The sequel curse.
yeah, the sequel curse. It's just like they're always
Yeah,
worse than the first one. They're always
yeah.
cash grabs, and they're trying to appeal to the audiences and give them what they want.
Yeah. No,
And
I agree.
oh yeah, so I love what they did with like the different art styles in this film. I love how they've depicted it like grown up
It's
Miles. He's kind of come into it, and he's gotten used to being his Spider Man, and then not only getting used to Miles's world, but like getting to
hmm
see there's the different Spider Men and Spider Women all over, and see how they all have their own individual art style and how it reflects in their worlds.
yeah. Gwen's particularly like
Oh yeah,
that's. I,
yeah.
I was like, at first I was like, man, this kind of I'm not really feeling this vibe, and then you know, you start picking up on it, and it's like the colors change with her emotions, and it's just
Oh yeah, and
it's unbelievable how well this movie is animated.
oh yeah, for real. And like I even saw that what the whole chase scene there at the end of the movie,
hmm
it took what 4 years to animate.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Each
just the,
Spider-Man had their own animation style, so you had to, and there was probably what 250 plus
oh yeah, like in that one image
Spider-Man.
we got right
So
there. I mean, that's not even toppling like everyone that was there.
right,
And
yeah.
and I love getting to meet these different Spider-Men because back in Into the Spider Verse, we got introduced to like Spider Man Noir and like Penny
hmm
Parker and Spider Ham and all of
hmm
them. But now getting to like get to know the characters like Hobie and getting to meet like Pravati and all of them. What did you think of
Yeah,
those characters?
I think everyone loves them both.
Mm-hmm.
They're so unique, especially in their animation, especially Spider-Punk's animation.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah. Plus, Hobie is just so, how do I put it? Mysterious.
Oh yeah, totally.
You get that vibe that he's
Yeah.
just there, man. I don't think he really cares
Yeah, he's there just
about
vibing.
anything. He's
He's
just
there.
there.
He's there for the vibes, and then like
Yeah.
Um, I love Pravati because one thing that I really loved him about was he's he's a Spider-Man that used a different web slinger tactic. He had what was it, the two yo-yo looking things to swing around,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah, that was
like I
so
got
fun.
you got so used to like the
The normal
yeah, the
web
Tobey
swinging.
Maguire like organic webs, and then like the Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland like
Yeah.
little wrist straps. But now you have him just like swinging around town with a yo-yo basically, and like that first opening
Yeah.
shot with him,
hmm
that really hit different. And I love the art
Yeah.
style for
They're all so good. I mean, we
oh,
could talk about the animation for days, dude.
oh yeah, for
It's
real.
it's just crazy. I think chai tea.
Chai tea. Oh my
Bro,
word.
that was hilarious, dude.
That was the funniest bit I've ever seen, or not ever seen, but that's one of the funniest bits I've seen in a minute. Where you're basically running around just saying TT. Like,
I mean, his introduction alone was so funny.
oh
Like,
yeah.
he just gets up, does a couple push-ups. He don't want to get. He's already too buffed.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Oh yeah, and then
I mean, you expect all those quirky, quippy lines
yeah.
throughout a Spider-Man film anyway. So
Mhm.
they did a great job.
Oh yeah.
Every character was funny in their unique ways.
Yeah, and like even going back to like Hobie, like everyone
Mhm.
has their little goofy one-liners, and Hobie, he kind of gave off a more like serious slash mysterious vibe, but
Right.
he was,
He was still
funny
funny.
in his own way.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and so I really liked Hobie. I liked his introduction scene, and it was just really cool chain of events. I loved, yeah, getting to know all the different Spider-Men, and then like, what was even inside the Spider Lair place? The girl that's basically
Spider-
there in VR.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know
Oh, I
you're
forget
talking
her name.
yeah, yeah. I forgot her name too, but
Yeah,
no, I know who you're talking about.
but like,
She was okay. Like I'm not sold on her yet.
Yeah,
but we'll see her
I
a lot
wasn't
in Beyond
either.
the Spider Verse. I think.
yeah, I think we'll see. I think we'll definitely see some more of her in the next film,
Yeah.
Beyond the Spider Verse.
Hmm.
But I think it was just like, yeah, there's a character that they're kind of introducing in, and we're just getting used to her. We don't really know a whole lot about her really, other than the small introduction she had. But you could see that there was
Yeah.
kind of like a connection between her and Miles, where
Mhm.
where at that scene where he was getting ready to head home.
Yeah.
There
Mhm.
she kind of knew that like she couldn't stop him. She couldn't stop him. She needed to let him go home.
Which wasn't exactly home, but
Yeah. And what did you think about the ending there?
I'm not as mad as everyone else is.
Yeah.
It could have been a little bit better. I think it was drug out. You
Yeah.
know, you could have ended on a cliffhanger multiple times during
Oh,
that
yeah.
last 20 minutes. So,
Yeah.
other than that, other than feeling like it was a little drug out, other than that, I'm not mad about it.
Yeah.
I'm not really the type of person to actually get furious at cliffhangers.
Yeah. And like I was a guy that I went into it knowing that it was going to be a cliffhanger, that there was going
Well-
to be a to be continued.
I'm pretty sure they marketed it as a two-parter.
Yeah. I
I
can't
think
remember,
everyone
but
just forgot about it.
it was there was someone that texted me that just let me know that it was going to be a two-parter because it would make the movie more enjoyable. Oh, I remember. No, it was a YouTube video I watched of a guy reacting to his thoughts on the film, and said that in his opinion, the film would have been better knowing it was going to be a two-parter going into it.
Yeah. I
Because
mean,
you're
it wasn't even a massive cliffhanger.
yeah,
It wasn't as jaw dropping.
and even just like you said earlier, there were several points in that
Yeah.
that I felt like could have been where it ended. But no, it kind of just kept going, and yeah, there we go. It kind of just kept going on, and it felt really drug out there at the end. And so
Not necessarily.
I mean,
not
not
necessarily
necessarily
drug out,
like
but-
as extreme as what a film
could-
might be drug out, but it did feel
Well-
like it took us a minute to get to that cliffhanger.
The problem was is like you went through that last 20-25 minutes and you already felt the movie was over with.
Yeah,
Like the movie was gonna end. You could feel it, and then it kind of just kept going.
yeah,
I mean, personally, I wouldn't have drug it out to the whole Prowler situation. I would have
Yeah.
saved that for the next film.
hmm
But yeah,
Alright.
I mean, it's not that bad
Yeah.
as everyone thinks it is, though, for sure.
yeah. Another topic that I want to dive into with Across the Spider-Verse is a little bit of theories what do we theorize will happen in the next film, and also what's your thoughts on canon events?
Let's tackle canon first.
All right.
Well, they're kind of actually. This point's kind of this could go both for both topics actually.
Right.
I don't think canon events are a thing
Right.
that destroy Earths if
Right.
they don't happen.
Yeah.
I think the algorithm, the little AI lady, whatever she's called,
Yeah.
I think she tells Miguel that, and Miguel just listens to her because of what Miguel went through.
Yeah.
Miguel's Earth the Earth that he was at could have literally ended for various of reasons.
Right.
So, I don't know. Maybe Miguel's in on it.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe Miguel's that type of person that is in so much pain that he wants pain on everyone else
Right.
possible.
And,
You know?
Yeah, and I'll give a shout out to this. One of my favorite YouTube channels to watch is all of Matt Pat's channels, Game Theory, Film Theory, and Food Theory.
Mhm.
And in his film theory episode on Across the Spider-Verse, he brought out a very valid point that that I hadn't necessarily thought about in the beginning.
Mhm.
We're being fed this idea that it's the canon events that drive the Spider-Men to be who they are, and it's these canon events that, if taken away, they could destroy that entire world. So he brought up a point because Sony has actually done a really good job with a couple of their movies to include some Marvel aspects to it, some little Marvel connections and stuff to where it can still kind of be brought back to the MCU if wanted.
Right.
And like even with the quip of don't get me started about Doctor Strange and that nerd on Earth 19999.
Yeah.
And bringing up Doctor Strange and Tom Holland's Spider-Man, he pulled out the point that it's not canon events that destroy realities. What if this is diving into a multiverse of madness and Loki's situation where it is incursions that are destroying these worlds? Where he pointed out the fact that in Doctor Strange we learned that if a certain person from a different multiverse or a different universe per se shows up in another universe and spends too long there, then it will cause the universes to collide and cause an incursion. And in Miguel's situation, Miguel O'Hara, we saw that he went and started to live the life of another guy in a different universe, and that ended with the world imploding on itself.
Right.
And then we also noticed in Pravati's world, you had how many Spider-Men all show up? And then completely jack that whole universe up with all the destruction that happened in that city caused by people that don't belong in that universe. And so that black hole, he theorized, was actually an incursion that started taking place. And so he theorized that
why would an incursion take place on that Earth, though?
Yeah.
There's something there to be explored then.
Yeah. That was just a topic.
My theory is the only reason that Earth started going bad was because of the spot.
Yeah.
It's a giant black hole, essentially. You know, versus where when Miguel's Earth was being destroyed, people were like vaporizing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Totally.
So, and it never went back there to the film. So I mean, we don't even know if
there's anything left there.
So, I think that's definitely a theory. It's not a bad one either.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like I said, that's the whole purpose of his channel. The channel is literally called Film Theory, so he just comes up with theories about these all day.
Yeah.
And another fun point that Matt Pat brought up was we, according to canon events, right? Your Spider-Man had one of the parts that drives him to being Spider-Man, that happens in all Spider-Man's lives, is that spider interaction, whether it be the spider bite or whatever it be. That's one of the steps it takes in your Spider-Man journey. And so,
Well, obviously, you got to get bit by a spider before you become Spider-Man.
right. And so, if you have to be bit by a spider to become Spider-Man, and then that's supposed to be one of the canon events in your life, then what happened to Earth 42? Because in that world, their Spider-Man never got bit by a spider. That was the spider that bit Miles. And so if their Spider-Man never came to existence, then according to the canon, Earth 42 was supposed to implode on itself. But yet, for some reason, their world's perfectly fine with zero Spider-Man.
Interesting. That's another token. That's why I don't think canon events being disrupted is what's causing these Earths to destroy itself.
Right.
If Miles is the original anomaly and was never supposed to be bit by a spider, how does he have canon events as Spider-Man if he was never supposed to be Spider-Man? So do anomalies also have canon events?
Yeah, exactly, because how is he being told that, like, we can kind of put the pieces together and say that the Peter that was Spider-Man before Miles, you could have easily said that he probably had his canon events. He was bit by a spider. He probably had an Uncle Ben experience, because as you can see, there's only Aunt May left and Into the Spider-Verse. And so now here it is, Miles is being told, when your uncle died, that was your Uncle Ben situation. And now not only are you having an Uncle Ben situation, but you're going to have the double whammy with the police chief dying as well.
Right.
So you're not just going to lose Uncle Ben, but you're going to lose your dad as well, for say. Which still blows my mind to try and wrap my head around, because there's definitely a lot going on in the background that we don't see, and then also there is something fishy about the whole canon events thing, and that's what I think we're going to see in Beyond the Spider-Verse, is we're going to see Miles do everything in his best to save his dad, and then it's going to come out the whole situation that the world isn't defined by canon.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at what Tom Holland did with, saving all of those villains before sending them back to their Earths, he disrupted multiple canon events.
Right.
Their Earths are fine.
Right.
So, yeah. I mean, I really think Miguel's just brainwashed. I don't think
yeah, totally. He and that was a funny little joke that Matt Pat said as well. He's just like, so Miguel, right? Miguel had one thing happen to him. He according to him broke his canon, and now all of the sudden he breaks his canon. And now the world implodes. And that's all he needed to say, oh yeah, canon events is a thing, and if you break your canon, your world's going to implode. Dude only saw it once.
Yeah. And even to that token, he never broke a canon event.
Right.
He just lived somebody else's life.
Yeah.
How is that a canon event?
Yeah, I don't know, and that's just weird. The whole Miguel O'Hara situation is just still fishy to me, because, like I said, he had one thing happen, and now that's because I broke some canon, and that wasn't even a step in you becoming
Right.
Spider-Man. And so
Right.
a lot of
It all tracks back to the algorithm, telling Miguel that he broke a cannon. That's why it happened.
yeah.
He created a whole spider force to stop cannon events throughout time.
Yup.
It all goes back to the algorithm.
It all goes back to the algorithm. And so now that we finished talking about canon events, what do you think we are going to see in the next film?
I think Miles is gonna save his dad, but his mom's gonna die instead.
Dang.
The first initial run in the comics, his mother is the one who died.
Dang.
But most people think that it's his dad because that's how the video game decided to do it.
Right.
Spider-Man PS4, his dad died, saving people at the whole City Hall thing.
Yes.
So I think it's gonna be his mom, but who knows? I mean, maybe neither of them dies, and maybe he does. I mean,
Right. Because that's another thing that if a Spider-Man dies, correct? So a Spider-Man, if he
Mhm.
if he dies, then does that just mean his world's got to go kaput? Because now there's no more Spider-Man in that world, and now your world, there's no more canon events. Your Spider-Man's
Yeah, I
dead.
don't-
It's a world without Spider-Man. So how does it go on?
yeah, I don't know. I don't think they'll kill Miles off. I mean,
Right?
but it is the end of his trilogy, and you never know.
Yeah, you never know. You never know what they do, and you also know, Spider-Man is such a beloved character. You can't really have a major film industry isn't going to go in and just kill off their main guy. I mean,
To that same token, they probably could because they just start a new Spider-Man trilogy.
right, and so we have hit.
I've seen in this movie there are plenty Spider-Man characters to go around.
Oh yeah, and totally. Like if they wanted to, they couldn't just. They don't have to keep milking Miles. They could actually go in and dive into a new Spider-Man from a different universe and talk about their backstory.
I would love a Ben Riley film. Like
Oh my word,
Scarlet Spider Dude, I would love that film.
totally.
There's plenty. A Gwen Stacy film would be nice,
Yeah.
but she's kind of like another main character for this, so
Yeah,
We're
so
getting
how,
plenty of
how do you
story.
will her? Unless, like, I mean, you could give her an individual movie, but I don't.
I'm saying like if they wanted to like kind of reboot and do other Spider-Man films, she's probably next in line.
Oh yeah, totally. Because she's definitely
But-
like people are getting emotionally attached to Gwen Stacy, looking at her
Yeah.
backstory,
Mhm.
and then just her character arc through the Spider-Verse films.
Mhm.
It's truly just wild, and that's
Yeah.
what people love her because
Right.
people like getting attached to those people who feel like in films that like the whole world has come down on them, and now you're seeing that they're putting in like all the effort to bring themselves out of it.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah, but I know Silk and Spider-Man Noir, they're both getting live action TV shows, I think.
Wow.
So that's in production, but with this whole writer strike going on, that's kind of being on hold. But
Yeah.
Silk is an interesting one. I wasn't necessarily on board with it per se.
Which show?
Silk.
Silk. Okay.
But I mean, the more I'm me and I've been a Spider-Man fan my whole life, ever since I was a kid. So I mean, I'm never gonna get enough. They could put out 10 Spider-Man films a year, and I'd still want more.
Oh yeah, totally.
So,
Um,
I mean, it is like I'm looking forward to it, but it was just an interesting character to choose, like to do next, I should say.
yeah. But all right, we have hit our 25-minute marker. So how are you feeling about the stream, Forever?
I mean, I'm just chilling, bro. I'm talking to
Totally.
you.
Oh yeah, totally. Like, this love talking about Spider Verse once again. Truly incredible film,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they we could talk for hours, like you said, on the art styles, the characters, our theories for the future, and what would we like to see added, or not necessarily added, but like characters that we would like to get more in depth with. Because
Hmm.
obviously, as we pointed out, there's hundreds of Spider-Men that we can see in this
Hmm.
film, and we
And
only got to
even,
meet a handful of
yeah.
them.
Hmm. And even with Miles, I mean, Miles is a fairly new character. I mean, we've scratched the surface with this character.
All
It feels
right.
like we've already gotten a lot of content with him, but I mean, we really have.
Yeah. But all right, let's go ahead and dive into our next topic. And it is officially NBA draft has come to an end. And we have been seeing a lot of news going on with the NBA. So, for our next topic, we are going to be looking at the NBA in depth right now. And what have we seen take place this past week that, and from the past couple weeks, that we think truly is going to shake up the NBA? All right. And so, Forever, why don't you go ahead and kick us off with the first thing you think we need to address with the NBA?
Chris Paul's getting a ring next year.
Yes, sir.
I'm calling it, bro. I'm calling it. He's
Oh,
been my
yeah.
favorite player. So I got into the NBA roughly like 14 years ago. So I mean, I'm excited.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I was out. There was a portion of last week to where I was very, very heartbroken. I don't think anyone wants their favorite player to be traded to the Wizards, but
Oh, yeah.
it worked out, you know.
Yeah, it all worked out for good there in the end.
And now I
Um,
got an excuse to see more Warriors games next year.
oh, yeah. Uh, I don't know, like I've heart goes out to Jordan Poole.
I mean,
he went to me. I feel like his introduction to the Warriors, not this past season, but the season prior.
mhm,
I feel like he
mhm.
was doing really well, but I did not see as much out of him last season as I would have liked to.
Yeah, he was super trigger happy.
Oh yeah,
Um, which I think that's why he's gonna work perfectly fine for the Wizards. I mean, they just traded literally everyone that had some type of talent on that team.
yeah,
So Bill's gone, Porzingis is gone. So Jordan Poole is basically getting the keys to that team.
oh yeah,
So he's probably gonna average 30, 32 points a game
oh
next
yeah.
year. I'm
And Who,
sure.
who knows? Maybe we'll see him pull a situation on kind of like what Kevin Herter did when he got traded away from the
Hmm.
Hawks and went to the Kings. I mean, I remember seeing Herter
Well,
for the Hawks, and he would do okay. But then you saw him go to the Kings, and now suddenly, like, this guy's getting talked about on sports media and stuff like that.
yeah. Well, Herter's always been a good shooter, but we just didn't use him here
Yeah.
in Atlanta. So, uh, he got traded to the Kings and got a starting position. And De'Aaron Fox is a great point guard.
Oh yeah.
Um, it draws a lot of defensive pressure as well.
Oh
So,
yeah.
those kick and just shoot games.
Oh yeah. And like,
So,
I
yeah.
remember,
Um,
I remember back when I first started watching the NBA. Really, I wasn't a diehard fan since I was a little kid, but it was about the time that I was hitting about eighth grade, ninth grade, and I started watching a lot of basketball, and that's when you introduced me to the Houston Rockets at that time that had James Harden,
yeah.
Clint Capella,
Hmm.
and CP3.
Hmm.
Like, I instantly fell in love with the Rockets. Like, I still pull for the Rockets. Like, they're kind of in a rough situation right now, But they're a
They're
really young
rebuilding.
team. They're
They got
really
a
they're
they got a bunch of young guys. They'll 10 years from now, 5 years from now, probably they'll be a winning team again. I'm sure.
oh yeah, totally. I mean, especially when you got guys like what Kevin Porter Jr. and
Hmm.
Green and
Not only that,
Alpi.
I mean, most of
Alpi's
the
been
guys,
popping off.
most of the guys in the West are those big names are going to be retired in 5 years.
Oh
So
yeah, totally.
it's going to
Um,
be the league's going to be very different in 5 years for sure.
oh yeah. Um, so yeah, it's interesting seeing Chris Paul move to the Warriors because that's just one of those things that you never really think about or picture in your mind. Like there's certain characters in the NBA that you just can't see in other jerseys or see
Hmm.
on specific teams.
Hmm.
And then now all of a sudden it's just like
Yeah.
that's why I
No.
think that
Hmm.
that's why I think that this is kind of like people are getting excited for CP3 because now beside Curry and Clay,
Hmm.
he stands a real good chance at winning a ring next season if all three of them work
For
together.
sure.
Especially
For sure. And
what?
Steph plays so much better off ball,
Oh yeah,
chasing around the 3-point shot. So, I mean, it'll probably work out a lot more smoother for an offense for Golden State next year, for sure.
oh yeah, totally. And so I mean, looking at Chris Paul on the Warriors now honestly makes me think of if Giannis slipped into a Pistons jersey. I mean,
Nah. It would be the equivalent if Giannis went to the Lakers or something
oh my
like that.
goodness,
Because
yeah, I
you,
see.
you got to think of like a winning organization already.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if you move CP3 to the Wizards, yeah, that's like moving. That's like moving Giannis
Yeah.
to the Pistons,
to
but
the Pistons. Right.
no, but Warriors. I'm definitely gonna be watching them next season because, yeah,
Mhm.
with that addition, I would like to see how well they do. Or
Hmm.
what if we watch this kind of backfire for say? Because I remember when Kyrie got traded to the Mavericks,
Hmm.
I was sitting there like on the edge of my
Well-
seat, like, holy cow, Mavericks about to pop off now. I mean, you
Well,
got two
that
stellar
was
guards.
that was mid-season. That was at the trade deadline.
Yeah,
Not and by the time even Luca was healthy with Kyrie, it was a little bit too late in the season. There were like 8 games left.
yeah,
Luca was injured from like the trade deadline and on for a while, so they didn't really get that chemistry they needed.
yeah.
So, if Kyrie stays, I'm sure the Mavs are going to be a fourth seed, fifth seed next year for sure.
Oh yeah, totally. Um, which the Mavs,
So
I've always
that
seen
just goes
that.
to the same point. I mean, Chris Paul has been scientifically proven to be a winning ball player. Like every team that he goes to, they're winning ball games.
Oh yeah,
They're 10 to 15% more of a winning percentage than the year before. So they're definitely going to win some games. And even to that point, I mean, all they did was give away Jordan Poole.
oh yeah, and
That's not much of an offense you gave away anyway. So
oh yeah. Like it's like losing kind of like that mediocre piece that like yeah it's there and can be beneficial to you,
Mhm.
but it's not really performing at its best. And then you bring someone like Chris Paul that's going to
He'd be
capitalize.
beneficial. He'd be beneficial, let's say 3 or 4 years from now when Steph Curry's about to hang it up.
Oh,
know?
yeah.
But to that token, if you got a player like Steph Curry, you should be in a win now
oh yeah,
situation, period. So that's where giving up a piece like Jordan Poole, which I don't think it was necessarily like an offense for offense type trade. I think Draymond Green gave the Warriors an ultimatum and was like, "Hey, it's me or it's Poole." And
Yeah.
then he didn't buy into his player contract to kind of get them talking. So
yeah.
I don't know because they apparently have beef.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. What was it? The whole situation where Draymond punched Jordan Poole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that blew up
Yeah.
media for a while. And like, what
Yeah,
was it? But just saying, that dude that was able to get that footage and sell it to TMZ, I tell you,
that's crazy.
he's living happy right now.
That's crazy.
It,
They did it on purpose, though.
yeah.
That's
Um,
crazy, though.
oh yeah, totally. Um, so yeah, so other than Chris Paul, one thing that I noticed just before we started the podcast, and it was an image that I added actually while we started talking. It is the photo of Derrick Rose. I just
Yeah, I saw
noted,
that.
yes, I saw that they weren't that the Knicks weren't going to accept his deal, and then now he was going to be a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
And so that opens the question: does Derrick Rose stay where he is, or do we see Derrick Rose trying to move somewhere else?
Well, if the Knicks refuse to pick him up, he is definitely a free agent, so he can go anywhere. So, me personally, biasly speaking, I'd love for him to come to Atlanta and be our backup point guard.
Oh yeah.
But realistically, he's probably going to want to go to a winning team, so we're probably going to see him go to like Milwaukee or the Lakers or something like that,
Oh yeah, definitely.
which is fine. He's in that point of his career to where he should just want to be on a winning team already. So
Oh yeah. I mean, and you especially see a team like the Knicks. You see the Knicks; they make the playoffs just about every single season.
just a mid team,
Just
fifth,
but just a
sixth
mid
seed every
team.
year.
They rarely make it past round one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still
Yeah.
remember the flashbacks when Hawks played Knicks in round one, and that whole
Yeah.
series. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat, and Hawks
Mhm.
pulling it out. I mean, just like.
Right.
But right now, the Hawks are kind of like in the kind of like the same rut as the Knicks are, really. I mean, the Hawks, they have potential. They have potential.
I think with Snyder, and we get a full year with Snyder, we're gonna be a good team next year for sure.
Yeah. But I did not watch the NBA draft fully, but did you notice any players that the Hawks picked up that looked like they could be beneficial?
Not exactly. I mean, we didn't have any great numbered picks, so
Yeah.
I think you could look at anyone and argue a case whether or not they're a good pick or not a good pick. I mean, we can look at Victor Wembanyama, who went number one, and we could say that there's some arguments to be made that he might not have been a good pick to go number one, and Scoot was, or you know what I'm saying. So,
Yeah.
Everyone that you draft, no matter if it's pick 1 or pick 50, you just gotta trust in your development and your ability to develop players on this level. So,
Yeah. And
there are naturally good players, but again, everyone is drafted for a reason. And if you're not good, you're not gonna get drafted. So it's at least a token there. So
Yeah, and that also it makes me think of, with the whole draft position thing. What was that guy that got drafted second to last, and he went and started tweeting out that like y'all are gonna regret this.
oh yeah, that like Alabama player or whatever.
Oh yeah, but then again, he's an Alabama player.
I
and
mean,
those guys. Alabama players are fun. Just saying.
that one tweet alone is probably why he went second to last.
Yeah.
His attitude is probably a reason why he didn't get drafted that high up. But I mean, it wasn't exactly a stacked draft class.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There wasn't like too many like I feel bad. I don't watch a lot of college basketball like I probably should, so I don't know
I
these
don't
players.
really either.
So
I don't really either.
it's
I
kind
know
of like
there's-
it's kind of like tough talking about it, because we say like, oh yeah, this draft class wasn't stacked, but then at the end of the day, to the Gonzaga fan or the UConn fan that had players like sitting on the edge of their seat, like waiting to see if their guys are going to
Sure.
get drafted. Like,
Sure, but at that token, I mean, that's a fan favorite. That's like somebody that went to your school, your
yeah,
team type thing. It's not exactly that it's a stacked, talented draft. More so like it's just your team getting drafted.
oh yeah,
I think anyone outside of the top five, probably the top five is insanely talented. I'd say that, but
yeah. And I also saw another post on Twitter yesterday that was talking about the NBA has kind of been changing a little bit, and so due to these shifts, we saw three really dominant centers in college that just completely went undrafted. And I can testify for
I
one
saw
of them.
that. But I mean, I saw a couple people comment on that, and it's more so like their age, because
Yeah,
they've been in college for a few more years more than most of the people in the draft class,
yeah,
and the fact that they had really poor spacing and they couldn't defend perimeter shots, which is really important for stretch fives.
yeah.
So
Because I definitely remember because going to Georgia State, I went and I watched a couple Georgia State basketball games, and I remember a couple years ago sitting on the edge of my seat when Georgia State made the NCAA tournament. And Georgia State, they went in as, place number 16 in their section. And they got matched up against number one Gonzaga that year. And
yeah,
yeah, it was tough, but sitting there and watching the center from Gonzaga, because he's one of the guys that didn't get drafted, which I do believe,
Right.
like you said, that he's older. But I watched him utterly just destroy Georgia State. Which Georgia State, to be honest,
they're not a great team.
they're not a great team, and then also Georgia State was hand in hand. Like, it was a 2 point game, a 2 to 4 point game, the entire game, all the way to like the last 15-20 minutes when Gonzaga just pulled away. Like, they hung in there with them the whole way and actually held the lead for a few sections, but then they just couldn't finish the game. And so, yeah, I remember watching that guy, and I've watched him in a couple other games, like just as a center, just being a dominant player, and just seeing him go undrafted, and like it raises eyebrows to people who know of him,
Right.
but it's just like,
I mean, to that same point, though, undrafted players could have a very successful NBA career.
yeah,
I mean, the Miami Heat went to the finals with like so many undrafted players. It's crazy. So,
yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't really sweat it
yeah,
if teams could see his value and put him on the G League and call him up whenever, and whenever that happens, as long as he's ready when his name's called,
yeah,
he's good.
yep. And so to wrap up basketball and NBA, we need to talk about Victor. I mean,
Yeah, sure.
we kind of mentioned him a second ago, but
Right.
I've been seeing so many highlight reels of this guy dominating the league in France, and applause to him getting drafted number one overall. I mean,
Yeah.
that mindset, like even thinking about it, like I've never played sports where I had to get drafted, but I remember back when I was in high school and stuff, and I went to competing competitions, and when I had no idea whether I got first, second, third, or last, or whatever it be, and then suddenly you're standing there with you and one other guy, and they're announcing who got second place, and they call the other guy's name, and at that moment you're number one.
Yeah.
That sense of joy, just like, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to think about to the average sports players, whether it's college football or whether it's basketball or NFL, NBA, MLB, whatever it is, and you get drafted number one. I mean, mad props to you. And I already know that him and his whole family's ecstatic about it.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
now,
absolutely.
now, how do we think he's going to do on the Spurs?
Well, I'm not exactly sold on the hype for
Yeah,
Victor yet. I think he's got a lot of development
yeah,
in his game and his physical shape. I think
yeah,
he's got to put on some pounds. He
yeah. And that
cannot
and
be
that photo we're
guarding.
looking at right there,
He cannot be
um,
guarding, freaking LeBron
or
and
Giannis,
expect to
yeah.
not get bodied.
Yeah,
So
all those bigger guys, like even looking at, because I think that he
mhm,
said he's going into the league as a center,
mhm,
and so now look at the other
yeah,
centers in the league.
mhm,
I mean,
right,
I think
yeah,
like you'll see guys like I think we'll see, and I don't think we'll just see centers. I think we'll start seeing some forwards kind of bully him a little bit. So, I
yeah. It's
mean,
definitely possible.
yeah, definitely because like I know some big forwards like
Will
imagine
will
Giannis running
he?
at him, just like.
Yeah.
But then
Mhm,
again, Giannis was in the same spot when he joined the league. If you remember, Giannis in his first
yeah,
few years, he was slim.
sure. Yeah, and he didn't become that two-time MVP until he bulked up.
Yeah,
So, and Victor is refusing to gain muscle. So,
yeah. And so
I mean,
we'll stop to monitor his career.
inevitably, he will gain muscle and he will bulk up a little with being trained in the NBA.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I'm not really sold on him, but statistically, I think he's going to do fine because he's literally been given the keys to San Antonio
oh yeah,
straight out the
totally.
gate. Like, the offense is going to literally be run through him probably almost every play that he's on the court. So,
Yeah, and you got to think about that because like, how many players are left in San Antonio?
yeah, there's not a lot.
Because
But
like I
as
remember,
long as he stays healthy, that's the thing. He is super skinny and his bones could be fragile. I
yeah,
don't know. But
and
as long as he stays healthy and he doesn't pull a Chet Hombre, like we should be good. He should be fine. I don't think he's going to be that superstar level until probably year 3, I'd say.
yeah,
But again, the West is super stacked, so they're not going to be a winning organization next year anyway.
yeah,
So just take that time, take these next 2 years to develop him into
yeah.
that superstar.
And
So,
then and not just develop him, but
mhm,
surround him with some pieces. I mean, if you're going to build an offense around this
mhm,
guy, you can't do what
mhm,
they did with Dejounte Murray, because you notice
mhm,
Dejounte Murray, he just got traded out, and like look at the Spurs this season.
mhm,
Like they got rid of their star point guard, and what was it?
mhm.
Is Keldon Johnson still there?
Think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But I remember, and then even Pottle, they had Pottle who was a center there, and he
Mhm,
actually tore up for a minute. Like I remember back in our fantasy leagues, whenever a lot of the big centers went down,
mhm,
and I went to Pottle as my backup, dude was still
mhm,
getting loads of numbers, like way more than average number, like the
mhm.
average center. He was putting up higher numbers than the average center, so he was an above average center. And then
Yeah.
this season, where did he go? Didn't he get traded away to like the Raptors or the Heat or something? I don't know. He went somewhere. It was like
I don't know.
the thing is like the Raptors or the Bulls or something. I don't know
Okay.
where he ended up, but he got traded away along with Dejounte Murray. And then now you watch the Spurs. What Spurs had one of the worst records last season?
Yeah. Yeah. But they probably did that on purpose to get Victor. They probably
Yeah,
tanked
yeah,
to get Victor. So, I mean,
yeah.
I'm personally more of a fan of Scoot right now.
Right. What team did Scoop
So,
go to?
Portland,
Portland.
he's,
Oh,
yeah, he's teaming up with Dame.
dang. What position does Scoop
Yeah.
play? I feel that sounds like a point guard name.
I think he's like shooting guard, small forward,
Yeah.
but he is like built. Like he is a monster.
Dang.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be interesting to watch him because you know we watched a sad split up. I mean when CJ McCollum and Dame parted ways.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that was
Yeah.
tough on me because I remember um, I actually really liked watching CJ McCollum play on Portland,
Mm-hmm.
and but I will say though,
Yeah,
you
they
know,
weren't bad together. They
yeah,
weren't that special duo that they needed to be in order to win.
yeah, and so it's just like yeah, I liked him there, and then poor thing for Dame, he kind of just got he kind of lost his shooting guard per se, but then we watched
Mm-hmm.
McCollum. He got traded away to um, the Pelicans, and I
Yep.
tell you, he's actually done really well in the Pelicans. I know he was putting way
Mm-hmm.
higher numbers than he had been on Portland over at Pelicans. Uh,
Yeah, but I think he's the only shooter on the Pelicans that I can actually do anything. So
yeah, and Zion's always hurt, so
Zion's in a heap of trouble right now, which we won't go into because
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not family friendly. But
yeah. I mean, I saw some of the
yeah,
stuff about all that, and it was just
yeah, yeah.
dude, you
If you're
got
watching
drafted.
this and you know about it, you know he's in a heap of trouble. If
Yeah,
you don't know, don't Google it.
yeah. Well, you saying don't Google it's gonna force people to want to Google
Probably.
it. So yeah, and so yeah, and I think for Victor, yeah, like you said, I think he needs to bulk up a little bit. We're not gonna see superstar Victor until a few seasons once he's got
Right.
his bearings in the league.
Definitely.
But who knows? Maybe he'll surprise us next season.
Yeah, again, statistically, he's going to be putting up numbers because he's going to get the ball a lot more than
Right.
a lot of rookies would be. So,
Yeah. So yeah, and so
all right. To wrap up this NBA segment, we're going to do a little bit of predictions. Next
prediction.
year's champion, next year's MVP of the league, and next year's rookie of the year.
Ooh,
Who do you got?
MVP. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, I think definitely we're gonna have the same big guys running for MVP again. I think we're gonna
That's
see Giannis
probably
in
fair.
talks. We're gonna see Embiid in talk. We're gonna see
Mm-hmm.
Jokic in talks, and who
That's fair.
knows? Maybe we'll see someone different. That's what I hope for because
I think Luca's gonna creep into that conversation. He might not win it, but I think
right,
he's gonna be definitely in that conversation.
right.
But who you got?
Ooh. Know what? It's gonna be tough, but I'm gonna give it to the Joker again. I think he wins back to back MVPs.
I think that's the smartest option.
Because
As long as the Nuggets were first seed, second seed, and he's still putting up the same numbers, he's probably gonna win
because
MVP.
just thinking like the Joker, he has been a tank for several seasons now, and he has been in the MVP talks for how many seasons in a row?
Mhm.
I mean, so
Four,
I think we see Joker come in and get MVP.
Mm-hmm. That's a solid pick. I'm gonna have to agree with you.
All right, NBA champion,
Now go rookie of the year first.
rookie of the year. Oh, rookie of the year. That's the thing. That's based off the rookies. And rookie of the year, is that just from the new draftees, or is that like I forget what rookie of the year wraps around?
Rookie of the year is mainly consisting of the draftees that were drafted a couple nights ago. But if a rookie from last year was injured all season and didn't get to play, he would consider be in the race for rookie of the year this year.
All right.
Um,
So yeah, definitely
But-
like
was Chet Holmberg or whatever his last name is? Was he drafted last year?
I'm not certain.
If he was drafted last year, he'd technically be eligible for rookie of the year this year.
I'm gonna go.
But
fact
even
check
then, he's
that.
definitely not getting it. It's definitely between Victor and Scoop for sure.
Um,
I'm going Scoop. I think Scoot's gonna have a great
He was
year.
drafted second overall in the 2022 NBA draft. So this was the
Chet was?
2023 draft. Yeah, Chet was. So yeah, he was.
Okay,
He
so
was
Chet would
drafted.
technically be eligible.
Ooh, so that means, yeah, like you, I think Scoot's definitely up there. I think when Victor,
Mm-hmm.
and part of
I
me, if
just
I keep
think-
saying Victor,
I just think-
I'm not going to attempt to
I-
pronounce
honest-
that last name.
Women Yaga.
Yeah, I'll have to.
I just think. I just think Victor's not going to be as healthy as they want him to be,
Right.
and Scoot's just going to be the more consistent player. He's going to play probably 75 of the 82 games.
Right.
You know, so if not 82 of the 82, I mean, you don't know. So that's why I'm going Scoot.
Yeah, and I definitely see it. I don't want to like put some bad juju on Victor or
Right.
anything.
Yeah,
But like he's
I'm not
definitely
saying, like,
he's
he's
definitely
gonna
got
go,
the
like-
body build to get
Right.
like half a season injury like first month of play.
I'm not even saying he's going to go down with like an
Right.
injury like
But yeah, that's just what
tearing
that's
his
what his,
tendon
that's what
or
his,
something.
that's just what his
I
body
just think
type
he's
says.
gonna. I just think he's gonna roll a couple ankles, and he's
Oh, yeah.
before you know it, he's gonna miss like 30 games.
Oh yeah, totally. And then missing
It
all those
happens.
games, that's definitely going to lower your contention for MVP. So
Right.
yeah, like you said, Scoot's definitely a shout, but I think don't count out Chet just yet.
And they put those new implications on like award races. Like you have to play a certain amount of games. I think it's like 65 or 70. I think somewhere
Yeah.
around there. I don't remember the exact number, but yeah. So Jokic and Scoot is for me so far. You got Jokic and Victor.
Yeah. No, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Victor getting Rookie of the Year, unless he just
You think
surprises.
Scoot?
I think it's going to be Scoot or Chet, and you know,
Right.
is Chet healthy again
I believe so.
for division
I
purposes? For division purposes, I'll say Chet get Rookie of the Year. I
Chet,
mean,
really?
Yeah,
You're
simply
sold on
because
Chet?
what?
You're sold on Chet?
I don't know. I, literally learned about him this podcast because, like I said, I don't keep up with the rookies as much.
Uh-huh.
I'm mainly keeping up with the Hawks, really.
Right.
But looking at OKC, what they were able to do, right, with Shai Gilgeous, right, and there was another player there. There was a couple pieces on OKC.
Josh Giddey.
Yeah, Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey was really good, and yeah, it was Josh Giddey
yeah.
and Shai. They really kind of like worked well on OKC, and though they didn't like go too far, like I don't even think they qualified for the playoffs. I mean, watching them play, they were putting up some big numbers.
OKC barely missed it. I think they lost the play-in tournament last year,
Yeah,
or this current year. So,
yeah, I think it was something like
hmm
that was like, what was it? Yeah, they had to lose like round 1 to Lakers or something like that of play-in. They had to finish like
they lost to someone. I don't remember which.
or
one
was it one of those things where it was leading up to the play-ins and so many teams were having to get because it was such a tight
No.
race.
No, because OKC and Dallas was battling late, but Dallas had fell off. OKC for sure got the play-in.
Right. But yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
who you got MVP? Or not MVP,
champion.
champions.
Champions. For the fun of it, I'm
Oh.
gonna say Golden State.
Golden State Warriors. My boy CP gonna get a ring.
They need a good center. That's what they need. They're missing a good center.
Re-sign Draymond Green, put him in center.
Yeah.
You got a good defensive center. I mean,
Right.
so that's if they re-sign him.
Yeah.
Are they a championship contending team without Draymond?
Probably still, yeah. I mean, but
Who knows?
Draymond, the main thing about Draymond is sure he's got an attitude, but his defense helps out a lot.
Yeah. Hmm.
Like, I noticed Draymond makes several big plays in the Warriors League with Sacramento.
Definitely.
So so Draymond's defense definitely superb, incredible stuff. Um, so yeah, I think Warriors are definitely in contention. I'm gonna say Warriors for now, just for the fun of it, but I definitely see several
Warriors
teams.
West, Atlanta Hawks East.
Oh,
Drop the mic.
drop the mic.
You heard it from Trey Young first, and you're hearing it from me second.
Hmm.
Atlanta in the finals, baby.
I don't know. Don't count Giannis out. Giannis, after they got eliminated, what, round one last year?
Yeah, but Giannis got injured, so I don't really hold that to them too much. But Chris Middleton opted out of his player option, so he's a free agent. So if they don't re-sign Chris Middleton, they're screwed.
Oh, yeah, they're
'Cause
going to
that's
need a point
second.
guard.
There's that second option.
Yeah, because that's
So-
going to force Drew Holiday to be
Yeah.
point.
Second option, and Drew Holiday is not a great offensive player. So
Right. He's a good backup for me, honestly. He's a good guy to come in as like a sixth man or a shooting guard to your point guard.
I mean,
But
he's
I don't
a
know if he can
good
lead
starting
an
point guard.
offense.
He's like Marcus Smart. You know,
Yeah.
he's more defensive pressure than anything else, which is
Mm-hmm.
fine, and that's great. You need a good defensive point guard, but
Yeah. Didn't Marcus Smart
You
just get
also-
traded?
yeah, Marcus Smart got shipped out.
Where did he get sent
I-
to? I saw something
Memphis.
about it. Oh, he's on
Yeah.
Memphis?
Yeah, yeah.
What did Boston get in return?
Kristaps Porzingis. It was
Oh.
like a three-team. It was a three-team trade with Boston Wizards and the Grizzlies.
Dang.
Yeah. So, like, from a business standpoint, like, if I was GM, I would have jumped on that trade too. But
Yeah.
Marcus Smart was a fan favorite in Boston. I think it's funny because I hate the Boston Celtics with a passion.
Oh, yeah, totally. I can't stand Boston.
So, they're so annoying.
Yeah. Fun question. Does Marcus Smart dye his hair blue or keep it green while he's on Memphis?
Oh, he's definitely dying it blue for sure. He's definitely dying it blue for sure.
But yeah. So NBA is looking fun right now. We have seen loads of new draftees.
Definitely.
They were waiting to see what their potential is going to be.
Mhm.
We have several trades going on that, just like
Mhm.
last year, these trades are blowing people's minds.
Yeah, and this coming week, I mean, we're probably going to see a lot more with player contracts,
Right?
what they need to do. Free agency probably is going to be a wild one
Oh, yeah, totally.
for sure. Summer league starts next month, so yeah.
So yeah, we have hit 1 hour and 3 minutes for the first
That's a-
pod.
That's a W podcast.
That's a W podcast. We had a third topic for you guys, but we're not going to dive into that one today. So tune in next week and hear what we come at you with next. And then also, people on Twitch,
Yeah.
you guys see it first. So hit me with a follow on Twitch and tune in next week, Saturday, and
Or
see
just-
what pod you get next. Go ahead, Arrow.
Just a little insight. We're reviewing The Flash next week, so
Oh, yeah.
if you haven't seen it, hit the theaters, see it. It's going to be a juicy one.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait for y'all to hear that pod. And if we see the NBA shake up a lot more, who knows? Maybe we'll see an NBA back-to-back pod. Who knows? A lot could happen, so stay tuned, guys. Follow me on Twitch, and that way you guys hear it first. But those of you who cannot, every pod goes to YouTube, and so hit me with a subscribe there and ring that notification bell to hear when the next podcast comes out. And forever, you have a YouTube channel you want to promote?
No, but you can follow me on IG, Forever the Arrowverse.
Nice. So yeah, guys, this is going to be the end of podcast episode 1. Catch us next week as we dive into several new topics. And like I said, follow me on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, and I have a Discord server that you can find out more about on my YouTube channel. And there you can submit topics for us to talk about and stay a part of the community. So take care, guys, and we will catch you all in the next one. Peace out from General Lee.